everybody momentarily. Let me get this up and running. All right. Get this taken care of. Hindinald. Hindinald? What's that? I Hindinald. Big Ray's ball cards. Laugh out loud. Hi, Donald. Hi Hindinald. That's the way I read it. I read it just as I see it. Thanks there, Big Ray, for popping into the stream here. Appreciate you being here, brother. All right. So let's see. That's good. Let me get this. Okay. Let me get all my computers up and running, and I'll go over what we got coming up for this week and give you a heads up on next week. It's called Old Fat Thumbs. I know the feeling. When I'm doing the same thing, sometimes I have to always try and correct it before the autocorrect takes over, and then I send something, I'm like, what did it do that for? So don't feel bad there, Big Ray. I know the feeling. Get this one set up here. We'll go into what we are doing for today. Okay. All right. Just for one day today only, we will do a reprieve. We'll go for 10 thumbs. No, actually, no. I think that's the way I had it. I had 10 thummies up. 10 thumbs up for opening up the Allen and Ginter blaster box here. And then 20 thumbs up. Then we'll get to the next tier and open up the Topps 2021 Baseball Series 110. Okay. And then our main content for today is finishing up Grassroots Baseball, Where Legends Begin. Photographs by Gene Fruth. And this will be the last installment on this one. I was going to start next week, but since me and the wife at the spur of a moment have gone on a little 1-week vacation, going out of town for a few days, over to Eastern Washington before it gets too cold over there. All right. So that's what we will be doing. Next week, I'll be on vacation. I may or may not do some live streams. We'll see if I have the internet and if I have something available to me over there. We'll see. I'm going to go snooping around, see if they have any kind of sports card shop or anything like that. Eastern Washington, which is full of farmers and stuff like that, they might not even have a card shop over there. But I will be looking around for sure. So other than that, this is again my box for our good stuff that we have. All right, this is our giveaway on this Friday at the end of the month. And then that means I'll have to get busy and get all those sent out by Monday. After Friday, I saw a blaster of that same Allen and Ginter at Walgreens. Wanted $25 for it. On clearance at Walmart. It was on clearance at Walmart for $10.99. That's good. I would jump on it for $10.99. But yeah, I don't think I'd go for it for $25. But that's cool. All right, we'll wait until time. Oh, and then just a quick heads up. My daughter has me helping her out today. So if I get a call on my phone from a place called Les Schwabi here, I might answer the call and make sure, because after I'm done my live stream, that means if I get the call, I got to go. Me and my wife got to go and pick up my daughter's car and bring it back to the house. She borrowed my pick-me-up truck and said, "Dad, can you take this so the Schwab can get my tire fixed?" She's got a screw in the tire, so it's got a leak. And they'll usually do it for no charge. Something is still done right these days, that's for sure. Donald Blomdahl, 2024. Thanks there, John. Appreciate you popping in here. We got 3 thumbs up. Getting close. 7 more, and we'll get into our content of opening up the box for 10 thumbs up. If we make it up to 20 thumbs up, then we'll open the 10. If I do get another, I'm expecting a UPS package today, and if we do get that, I think we'll be set for some super delicious sweet stuff for tomorrow. But other than that, at least if I know for sure by the end of the stream, if it shows up, we can always say, all right, I know what we're doing for content for tomorrow. Okay, let me see something. Give me an update on that UPS delivery. Nope, still in the same place. It has not been moving. It says between 1 and 5, and it is 2 o'clock, so. But if it ends up like most of the times, it'll be late this afternoon, probably. It'll be late this afternoon. We got 3 minutes. We do have, let me give you an update on how many entries we have for the month of September. As soon as we get loaded up here, we've got 86. So 14 more entries, and we will make it up to 7 prizes on the wheel. 7 prizes on the wheel. Again, this round for this month, we've got, it's called the Days of Gold. The Days of Gold. So we do got a whole bunch of gold cards here. Which the gold cards are, we got some 2020s here, 2020 golds. And then here we've got some 2022. I don't think I have any 2021 golds. I don't think so. So I'm going to move this off to the side for now. Just so we can get ready for the next 2 minutes when we do our show. And then I'm going to put this 10 off to the side. Okay, so 10 thumbs up, we get to open this box. If we make it all the way up to 20 thumbs up, we'll open this 10. If not, maybe we'll start off tomorrow with the 10. But today or tomorrow, we'll get to the 10, I'm hoping. So I'm going to put this off to the side here. Put this off to the side here. So you can see the book we're going to finish off here. Right? There we go. And we got 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. What's up, y'all? Hi, John. Jay Thompson's in the house. How you doing there, Jay? Thanks for popping into the stream here. Appreciate you, brother. Let me get up here to our chat. Let me refresh the chat as we get ready to start here in less than a minute. Let me refresh the chat here. Refresh the chat here. Hey, you JT. Grats on the win over Brady. There we go. All right, we do have 211, so we're going to get into going through this and seeing how we do. One more refresh here. Should catch me up to date here. Thank you. We needed it. There we go. All right. Let's get into opening this book and finishing off this book. Then after I get back from vacation, we will start into the third book in this, or the second book. This is the first book, and then we'll get into the second book. Okay, we're going to continue here where we left off with the first one. Again, we're just going through the book, reading the captions here so you know what's on the pages. But for this chapter 13, we're going to go to the end of the book here. We're almost done. We did it in 4 segments. All right, and then it's closed up by, I'm trying to remember who off the top of my head, but it'll be an awesome player for sure. All right, so chapter number 13, Aberdeen, Maryland. Okay, over on this page over here is a South Shore Sea Dog grips his four-seamer, the Ripken Experience, Memorial Stadium. Then off to the right here is Little League All-Stars. Left to right, Chase Blevins and Zach Bauer at Concord Point in Havre de Grace, the town where Hall of Famer Cal Ripken was born. Then on our next two pages here, we're going to have Cal Ripken Jr. with the plaque of fellow 2007 Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn, National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. And then on the right page, on the next page, will be an Anjo bomber getting loose in the pen at the Ripken Experience Memorial Stadium. So there we have it here. There's Cal Ripken Jr., my second favorite PC player. And then, like it was mentioned, let's see, Cal Ripken Jr., my life in baseball has been a wonderful journey that has taken me around the world. But it all began in my hometown of Aberdeen, Maryland. I'm proud to say that Aberdeen has always been my home. It's just a short drive inland from the Chesapeake Bay and Havre de Grace, where I was born. Aberdeen is probably best known for the United States Army Proving Ground facility where weapons have been tested for over 100 years. Maybe that's why it became a personal baseball proving ground for my brother, Bill, and me. My dad and mom, Cal Sr. and Vi, raised my two brothers, my sister, and me in the home where my mom still lives today. We were always playing something. My mom used to say, "I wish I had a nickel for every dime I heard just one more game, Mom." Nobody liked to end the night with a loss, especially me. I always had a glove and a baseball in my hand. When we chose teams, I always picked my younger brother Billy so that I could take care of him and look after him. It helped that he was a heck of a ball player, too, just like me. We invented 1-on-1 and 2-on-2 games where right field was out of play. We could have an odd number of kids and still get a game in. We'd make a ball out of a roll of tape. We created rules like pretending the side of our house was the green monster at Fenway Park. The presence of fences, hedges, houses, and roof structures required creative rules. For instance, if a ball came down off a roof, it was still in play. We had a heck of a time dreaming up and figuring out what we could do with these different challenges that our unique ballparks presented. Our garage door had glass windows. When we started breaking them, our dad didn't get mad. He just taught us how to replace them. Finally, we got smart enough to use plexiglass. Growing up just a short drive from Baltimore, where I played for 21 seasons, we knew everyone in the Orioles lineup as well as all the Reds players, who were also really good at the time. Those were my teams, the O's and the Big Red Machine. We always watched the Saturday game of the week and the All-Star game. Back then, there weren't ball games on every TV every day, so the game of the week was a big deal. I loved watching the All-Star game because all of a sudden, we got to see many great players in one game. We would imitate swings. I remember Willie Stargell swung with a flare and tried to emulate the loop at the end of his swing. Brooks Robinson was my favorite. When I was a kid, my folks pointed him out and encouraged me to watch him, not only because of how great he was on the field, but because of how he handled himself off the field, too. He was a hero for a lot of people. He generated such excitement playing third base. His ability to dive or barehanded a ball on a bunt was amazing. I'm not sure any player has had a greater World Series on defense than he had in 1970 when the Orioles took the mighty Reds in 5 games. I was 10 years old that fall, watching him, wanting to be him. As luck would have it, I was called up to the big leagues in 1981 as a third baseman. I stood on the same grass and the same dirt in Memorial Stadium where Brooks played. The feeling was incredible. For the first 14 years of my life, my dad was a minor leaguer manager and coach, moving from city to city almost every summer. We traveled as a family and relied on each other for entertainment. We played cards together, fought and laughed together, and even bowled in a league together. As young kids, I would tag along with my dad to the ballpark and hope for a chance to have a catch or play pepper or simply spend time with him on the way to the ballpark. Back at home, I continued to excel in sports. I played soccer and baseball, pitching and playing short at Aberdeen High. I even struck out 17 batters in a game. When I was a senior, we won the Maryland State Championship. My dad thought that if I kept working at it, I could be drafted to play pro ball. That was the first time I ever seriously thought about my dream becoming a reality. Then to be drafted by my hometown team, well, that was a dream come true. As my playing career came to an end, I realized that I could use baseball to help kids in need. We started the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation in 2001 to honor Dad, and today we operate in nearly every state in the country. We are building safe and clean places for kids to play in areas where they simply don't have a nice place to be kids. Something we took for granted when we were young. We also have programs that work well to bring communities together. I know Dad would be proud of the impact we're having, and he would probably tell us that we are getting too big for our britches. For me, it all started in Aberdeen, the town that remains so important to me and always will be home. So there you go, the introduction for this chapter 13, Cal Ripken Jr. All right, here we go, below left. Old school, the Ripken Experience, Fenway Park, below right. Grind and Heart, Philippine Pioneers, the Ripken Experience, Memorial Stadium. And then opposite, South Shore Sea Dogs versus the Virginia Beach Knights, the Ripken Experience, Memorial Stadium. Okay, so that's what these 3 pages are here, and then we've got the next page here. Boy, that's some awesome photography here. Look at that stretch by that young pitcher. There's the catcher, big league chew. It says full extension, Cam Rogan, Lakeview Lightning, the Ripken Experience in Yankee Stadium. Below left, Brewster Brigade, the Ripken Experience in Fenway Park. And then below right, up against the wall, Tyler Boutko, Jet Box Baseball Club, Cal Seniors Yard. All right, here we got 2 shots here, a team here and a team here. Let's find out. Left here is the Grease Gladiators, Cal Seniors Yard. And then opposite over on this side is Happiness is Scoring a Run for Your Team, Ontario Blue Jays versus the Nipmuc Youth Baseball, Cal Seniors Yard. Okay. So that's just a short little chapter there. Now we move on to chapter 14 in the country of Caraco. All right, so opposite over here we've got Caraco RBI League in the small fishing village of St. Michiel, and late afternoon practice in St. Michiel. And we got Hensley Mullins is the one that's filling us in on Listening. Caraco. Okay. It says here, opposite, hitting in the cage, St. Michael. And above is Hensley Mullins, the first major leaguer from Caraco in Willemstad. Then on our next 2 pages I'm going to do the reading here, and then I'll talk about the next 2 pages here. So the introduction for chapter 14 here is Hensley Mullins. Okay. God is great. Hello, Don. God is great. Yes, he is. God is great. Thanks for popping back in the stream here. Appreciate you being here, brother. God is great. Big Ray, Jay, and John. Hello to everybody. It's hard to imagine an island as small as Caraco with only 150,000 residents producing so much baseball talent. But we do. I am so proud to have set the table. As a child, I couldn't even imagine leaving the island, let alone playing in the major leagues. Not only did it happen, but I was drafted by the Yankees, who play home games at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, where the population is nearly 10 times the size of Caraco. What a difference. I love to play soccer like my father, Mortimer, who was our national team captain. But one day, one of my friends read a flyer that said new youth team was being formed on our soccer field, and he suggested we try out. I had no idea how to play the game. Out of 50 kids, they picked 14, and I was the last one. The team had a new coach named Johnny Acumbaro, who had Frank Curiel help him put the team together. We call Frank the godfather of baseball because he helped elevate the game in Caraco in the 1970s and 80s, which led to our country winning the 2004 Little League Baseball World Series. There is a ballpark named for him in Santa Maria, and every day of the week you will find kids playing on his field for hours on end. Frank picked me because I was tall and I had a good arm and power, but I was terrible, awful. I'll never forget my first game. We were winning 4-3, and I was playing right field because that's where they hide the bad fielders. But the ball found me and I dropped it, and we lost the game. The other players yelled at me, "You stink, you cost us the game." I could have walked away, but I didn't. I practiced daily, throwing a ball against a gym wall, hitting rocks. Next year, I got better and made the national team. Pretty soon, my friends were calling me Bam Bam, after the Flintstones character, because I hit the ball so far. It's funny how things work out. Lipo El-Haj, my godfather, and Yankees scout Dick Groch were classmates at Springfield College in Massachusetts. Go, we're up to 5 thumbs up, halfway there to open up some cards at the end of the book here. Dick, who later signed Derek Jeter, would come to Caraco every year to teach us about the game and stage tryouts. At the time, the only kid from the island who had even signed a professional contract was Sherwin Ginter with Baltimore. I signed with the Yankees in 1985 when I was 18 years old and went to the minor leagues. 4 years later, I made history as the first player from Caraco to play in the major leagues. It was August 23rd, 1989. I'm walking down the tunnel into the dugout at Yankee Stadium for the first time, and that grass seems to be greener than any other grass in the world. There's no feeling that compares to the one I had that day. My family was there. Everything, and I mean everything, stopped in Caraco. The flow of telegrams was unbelievable. My 7 years in the majors and 17 seasons overall as a professional baseball player went by quickly. I am proud to have been the first to have paved the way for many others from my home. 14 players have followed me, and more are in the pipeline. Current stars Ozzy Albies, Kenley Jansen, Didi Gregorius, Jurickson Profar, Andrelton Simmons, and Jonathan Shoup, as well as Andrew Jones, the great center fielder for the Braves, have helped out Caraco on the baseball map. I've spent the better part of the last decade as a coach with the San Francisco Giants, where I have earned 3 World Series rings. I managed the last 2 World Baseball Classic teams from the Netherlands. Imagine that. I hardly knew what baseball was when I was 9 years old, and today the sport has taken me all over the world, to Japan, Korea, Taiwan, all the Latin American countries, and to the 2000 Olympics in Australia, where we beat Cuba. From childhood and along the way, I learned to speak 5 languages. I was knighted by Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands at home plate at AT&T Park in July 2012. When I was given the royal decoration of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, now people call me Sir Bam Bam Mullins. I still call Caraco home, and it's where my wife Giselle and I are raising our children. Every December I organize Caraco Baseball Week, a series of clinics for 1,000 kids from across the island, retired and active major and minor leaguers who grew up on the island, love participating, as nothing brought us greater joy than getting to know and prepare the next generation of players for a future in baseball. Who knows? There might be a big, awkward kid who reminds me of me. There you go. This is introduced by Hensley Mullins. And then, for the following pages, when I turn it here, it's Getting in His Cuts, Park, Sean Kinasia, Marchiena. And then the following page right, Sunday Baseball at Frank Curiel Park in Santa Maria. Curiel is known as the godfather of baseball in Caraco for developing its youth leagues in the 1970s and 80s. There we go. Awesome photography here. Again, got somebody resting or doing stretches there on the side. Right, Park Sean Nicasio from Marchiena. And opposite, Caraco RBI League, St. Michael. Then on the following pages, Caraco Baseball Week, organized by Hensley Mullins, cultivates the next generation of baseball players, with some of the country's top players, including Didi Gregorius, Kenley Jansen, Andrew Jones, Jurickson Profar, Jonathan Shoup, and Andrelton Simmons. Theo Dout Ballpark in Wilmstad. So there you go, some of the different youth players and their expressions. You can tell they're having fun playing the game. That is just awesome. All right, another one here. Left, Caraco RBI coach St. Michael. And opposite, the sun sets behind the Park Sean Ni Nicasia in Wilmstad. All right, next we go to Chapter 15, Texas. Opposite, the USSSA State Tournament, Old Settlers Park, Round Rock. And then right is Tracking the Ball at UIL Baseball State Championship, Jasper versus Argyle, Dish Falk Field in Austin, Texas. And of course, who else would take care of Texas in the introduction than none other than Nolan Ryan. We got opposite here, we got Sweeney Bulldogs versus the Argyle Eagles in Dish Falk Field, Austin. And then, of course, Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan, who tossed 7 no-hitters and is the career leader in strikeouts from Georgetown, Texas. And I'll go over the next following pages after we read Nolan Ryan's introduction here. Let me refresh the chat real quick here. Okay. Back up here to the chat. So the introduction again by Nolan Ryan. Let me get a sip of water real quick and we'll get into the last couple sections of this book. What prompted me, and I ended up buying this 2-book series, is watching the Little League World Series. They had interviewed the photographer for this book, first book, and then her second book. And then, of course, knowing me, I went to the website to see if I could score a pair of books, and they're both autographed copies by the photographer. So, I'm a native Texan. Nolan Ryan says, I'm a native Texan and proud of it. I was raised in Alvin and lived in that small town until my playing career ended. We wound up there after my dad took a job as a plant supervisor for Stanley Oil Company. He and Mom, a descendant of John Hancock, raised my 4 older sisters, my older brother, and me. My dad bought me my first glove when I was 7 years old. Getting to go with my father to Alvin hardware store to pick out something new instead of getting me a hand-me-down was a whole new experience. He also taught me the value of hard work. From 2nd grade until I graduated from high school, my dad and I spent 3 pre-dawn hours from 1 to 4 a.m. every day, delivering the Houston Post. Working that newspaper route taught me about dedication and responsibility at a young age. My older brother Robert and I would play catch in our front yard, which was how I was introduced to the game. Robert is 7 years older than me, and he used to let me hang around with his friends and him during the summer when they played ball. I always tagged along, hoping they would need someone to play right field, or anywhere else for that matter. Every boy looked forward to the time he was old enough to go for it. Little League Baseball, and I was no exception. If you made a team, it was the proudest moment of your life. Then you would get your cap, which was special and a very big deal. I looked forward to the practices as much as the games at Schroeder Field in Alvin. I always seemed to have great arm strength when I was in high school. I could throw a softball the length of the football field. By the time I was a sophomore, I was pitching on the varsity for Alvin High School and averaging 2 strikeouts per inning. I once had a 9-inning, 21-strikeout game against LaPorte. My high school coach, Jim Watson, used to tell people that the ball would rise a half foot as it reached home plate. Our catcher, Jerry Spinks, had a hole in his mitt from the pounding of my fastball. Coach and my teammates relied on me to pitch most of our games when I was a senior, and I pitched well enough to get us to the state finals. I started to attract the attention of scouts in the area, and I was fascinated with the thought of having an opportunity to sign and play professional baseball. The Colt 45s came into existence during my formative years in high school, meaning I could watch my baseball hero Sandy Koufax pitch in person. It also meant scouts were coming to town, which is how I met the Mets' Red Murph, who signed me. He told me that the 2 hardest throwers in the National League at the time were Jim Maloney and Turk Farrell, and that as a 17-year-old, I was already faster than both of them. I signed my first baseball contract in 1965, and that summer I got on an airplane for the first time. I made my Mets debut next summer at the age of 19. I was overwhelmed, truly intimidated. I went back to the minors, but the Mets brought me back to stay in 1968, which was the year the New York media gave me my nickname, Ryan Express. It came from a movie called Von Ryan's Express that starred Frank Sinatra. One of the best parts of coming back to the Mets was joining Tom Seaver in the rotation. That gave me the opportunity to see how well he conducted himself, his professional attitude, and his dedication to his job. He looked at baseball as a career, not as an opportunity for a short period of time. I truly paid attention to Tom, and I appreciate the influence he had on my life. Looking back, I can say that my ability to throw a baseball was a God-given gift. It took me a while to figure out how best to use that gift. When I finally did, I dedicated myself to be the best pitcher I could possibly be for as long as I possibly could. I'm proud to say I kept delivering for 27 seasons. Jay Pilot, I like Nolan Ryan. I got a through the mail return autograph from Nolan. That is cool. Yeah, he was an awesome pitcher, that's for sure, back in his time. That's for sure. So on the next 2 pages, we've got the words of wisdom for this Round Rock Express Bat Boy, Gray West. And then the following page right is Dell Diamond and Round Rock. There we go. It helps if the hitter thinks you're a little crazy. And of course, 2 young men sitting there with 2 huge red baseball caps on. Okay. And then there's that Dell Diamond Stadium that they were talking about. Here we've got over here on this page, on the previous pages too, was Getting Loose, Argyle Eagles, Dish Falk Field in Austin. The previous page right was starting pitcher Matt Thompson warming up for the Cypress Ranch Mustangs. And the championships, Dell Diamond, Round Rock. And then here on the left is Greater East Austin Little League, Mapson Field in Austin. Over here we've got Playing Under the Lights, Scotty Sayers. Field in Austin. So that's these guys here. Okay, and then we've got below left, Celebrating After an Argyle Eagles Victory, Dash Falk Field in Austin. And then below right is Thanks Mom, Austin versus Northwest Little League, and Steve Shanks Feldman in Austin. Then on the next page over here, opposite, is Ryder Spencer, West Hills All-Stars, Allen Boots in Austin. Okay, then we've got here, Leaving It All on the Field, Clifton Cubs versus Beckville Bearcats, Dell Diamond, Round Rock. And then the opposite page over here we've got is Victory, UIL Baseball State Champions, Slocum Mustangs, Dell Diamond, Round Rock, left. And on the right is the Argyle Eagles, Dish Falk Field, Austin, on the right. Okay, then we've got here, we've got the left, we've got the Northwest Eaton Eagles, UIL Baseball State Champions. And then opposite over here is State Champion, Argyle Eagles State Champions, Dish Falk Field in Austin. On our next 2 pages, we've got the following page left, Deep in the Heart of Texas, Fayetteville versus Slocum, Dell Diamond, Round Rock, and Dish Falk Field in Austin. So pretty awesome looking photography there. Okay, I think we've got the final part of the book, The Afterword by Johnny Bench. I think this one does take part on a couple pages here. But opposite here, we've got Johnny Bench Field, Binger, Oklahoma, population 672, and childhood home of the Hall of Fame catcher, Johnny Bench. And Hall of Famer Johnny Bench with his 1968 Rookie of the Year award. Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. All right. So the afterword and finishing up of the book here is, to be honest, I'm not used to batting last, but given the lineup card in this book, I can't really complain. Plus, I get to be on the receiving end of the pitches thrown by the greatest arms of their time. So, in a way, this is right where I always wanted to be, at home plate, holding the baseball after the last out. This is a book devoted to the grassroots of baseball, and I have a deep appreciation for where I got my start. Binger, Oklahoma, population 672 today and 660 when I grew up. I used to joke that Binger was 2.5 miles beyond resumed speed. But I'm not joking when I say the road that goes north through Binger is 281. Took me to Cincinnati and Cooperstown. What can I tell you about Binger? It's the junction of routes 281 and 152, 56 miles southwest of Oklahoma City, and it's home of the Caddo Nation of Native Americans. I have a little Indian blood in me. Peanuts and cotton are our big agricultural crops. My parents, Katie and Ted, raised 4 of us kids. Dad drove the truck for a propane gas company. He was very good, semi-pro catcher in his day and dreamed of playing in the big leagues. But when the war came along and he had to serve 2 hitches, one day, I was about 4 years old. My dad and I were watching the game of the week on television, and the announcer said, "Now batting, the next superstar, the switch-hitting center fielder from Oklahoma, Mickey Mantle." I looked at my dad and said, you can be from Oklahoma and play in the major leagues? That's what I want to do." My father, who had my dream once, said that catching was the quickest way to the bigs because that's what they needed. My dad started a little league team when I was 6 years old. We rode around in a pickup truck and knocked on doors to find enough players to field a team. No uniforms, just Levi's and t-shirts. We'd all go out and lose, and my dad would say, "That's okay. We'll get them tomorrow. Let's go have a cheeseburger." Foster's Dairy Queen was the place. Well, we played and played and got better and better. At the end of the year, we played a team that was undefeated, and we beat them. The other team kids were all crying. I asked my dad what was wrong, and he said, "Nothing, son. They haven't learned how to lose yet. Now let's go have a cheeseburger." A lot of us have similar stories about standing up in school, telling classmates they want to be major leaguers when they grow up, and hearing everybody laugh at their dreams. I first heard the laughter in 2nd grade, but that didn't stop me from practicing my autograph. When my 8th grade teacher, Francis Tate, asked me what I wanted to be, and I said a major league player, they laughed. And I couldn't blame them. I was only 5'2". I had size 11.5 feet. With the same hand and head size I do now. The only people interested in scouting me were Barnum and Bailey. By the time the 11th grade rolled around at Binger High, I told Mr. Rhodes and my classmate of my dream. The laughter had died down. The funny thing was, I hadn't done much catching because I was too busy pitching. I went something like 84-3, and we won the state. championship. But the scouts knew I wanted to be a catcher, so I would take infield practice so they could check out my arm. When I was drafted by the Reds in the second round of the 1965 draft, I was 17 years old. And the class, valedictorian. Hey, it was a small class. The Reds assigned me to Tampa, which meant I had to get on an airplane for the very first time in my life. I had no idea the Hall of Fame was waiting for me, especially after the Reds called me up at the end of the '67 season and I hit 163 in 26 games. But I was the Rookie of the Year the next year, and the folks back in Oklahoma staged a Johnny Bench Day to celebrate my homecoming. Sports Illustrated did a story on me, the Big Zinger from Binger, they called it. I played 17 seasons for the Reds, made 14 All-Star games, won 10 Gold Gloves, 2 MVPs, and most importantly, 2 World Series with the best manager, Sparky Anderson, and the best teammates you could ever ask for. But sometimes when I close my eyes, I still see myself hitting rocks from our driveway. How much does my hometown mean to me? Well, the middle name of my son Bobby, who was born in 1989, the same year I was inducted into the Hall of Fame, is Binger. He's a grown man now, and a couple of years ago he did a wonderful thing. There's actually a Johnny Bench Museum in Binger, right next to City Hall, and I had given the museum all the Gold Gloves I still had, which was 6. Well, Bobby Binger bench-tracked down the other 4 so that the museum could have a complete set. It's not the Hall of Famer, but if you're ever driving through southwestern Oklahoma and you see a sign, Binger, home of Johnny Bench, feel free to check out the museum. There's some pretty cool stuff in there, including my high school uniform, my Reds jersey, photos of me when the circus was interested, and my 3rd grade report card, all A's. They even have my high school sports diary. This is from 1965. We met Dewey and won 3-1 for state championship. I pitched a 1-hitter. As you can tell, I was quite the wordsmith, but then words still can't express how much Binger means to me. By the way, if you're hungry when you're done with the museum, walk down Main Street to Cream Co. and go have a cheeseburger. That's cool. And the captions here say, the throw down to second, Johnny Bench tournament. Binger Little League field over here. And then this one here is Binger Only Bobcats, Johnny Bench Field. Then our last picture here is Holcomb Rucker Park, New York, New York. That takes care. Oh, we got one little lonely photograph on the back here above. On the cover of the book, of course, is the streets of Old Havana, Cuba. And this above little insert photo here, boom, this one right here, is Simon Fruth 2007 Little League All-Stars in California. And that finishes up our book there. Hopefully you all enjoyed this Grassroots of Baseball. Oh, no, we didn't quite make it up to the 10 thumbs up. Let me do my refresh here. And other than that, I'm going to set this aside for now. Again, we'll hang out. We'll talk a little bit of baseball here, go through different things. But again, 10 thumbs up. We'll open up this box here, the Allen and Ginter. If we can get 20 thumbs up, which I don't think it'll happen today, but then we will open up the Topps 10. Let me see if I missed some kind of call here. me see. I'm expecting a package this afternoon. It hasn't made, and not even close yet. Oh, I see where he's at. He's across the street on a... Is that the outlet mall? I think so. Sorry, I'm mumbling to myself. Okay, let me just check. No, don't think that's them. Ooh, I hope it's not. Hope they can plug that tire up, not have to make my daughter buy 4 new tires for her Toyota. Okay. Alright. Back here in the chat. Nothing new on my... Well, let's see. What do we got here? We started at 2. We're getting close to the hour. We'll go to the hour mark and see if we can get those 4 more thumbs up. 4 more thumbs up. Oh, here I can make my little insert here a little bit bigger so you can see me. There we go. Now you can see me a little bit easier. Let me get a sip of water while we're waiting. Chit-chatting. Shows we got 2 people watching. And that's okay. If we don't, we'll just hold up and we'll do it when I got more viewers in here. It's nice. You never know when you're going to get that 101. But we will have fun nonetheless. Anybody here still with me in the chat? It shows 2 people watching. I think everybody left. I don't think people like this content as much. I don't know. We'll see if... I mean, I'm getting views later. People coming in and watching it after the fact. But we'll go to the 1 hour mark. If nothing else shows up, we'll just close up shop for today. And I'll come back tomorrow for our Hall of Fame. Are you ready for some football? Uh-oh. See, I just missed that one.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Okay, looks like my daughter's car is ready to be picked up. All right, so yeah, I think we'll probably just wrap things up here because I don't see too many other people. for some of you. All right. I don't think there's anybody here except for me. If there's anybody else in the chat, make sure you say something. If I don't get any response, we're going to close up shop here. And again, a quick reminder for those that do watch the video and stuff, we will be doing a the 1985 Hall of Fame class for the Professional Football Hall of Fame. And tomorrow's Are You Ready for Some Football? And then we'll open up some baseball product. For sure we're going to open up this tomorrow, no matter how many thumbs up we get tomorrow. We're going to open this one up tomorrow. And maybe the 10, maybe something else, or maybe a surprise. I don't think the big surprise is going to be here till Thursday. So we will have some exciting stuff coming up this fall for sure, I hope. And we'll see how my Facebook followers that do so behind the scenes are up in their game. I've got a big box of something coming in. So other than that, this is Don Blumdahl, Hall of Fame Veterans, Sports Cards, and more, having been live to you with Take It Back Tuesday, Grassroots Baseball, where legends begin. Well, that's right, this was part 4. So, other than that, like David says in all his videos as he finishes up, the Fanatic Card Guru, or whatever his new name for his channel is this week. That's why I'm getting confused with David. He used to be more predictable, and now he's getting very unpredictable. But he does have something. His focus is somewhere. Might not be here, and it might not be there, but it is somewhere. It's just when I was trying on my channel to get my 1,000 subscribers, I'm doing what he is doing now, but not to the... I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to jeopardize our friendship, but be blessed. We'll see you all tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel at 2 p.m. Pacific.